Well, my name is Kim Young. I'm originally from San Diego, California. I like to describe myself, though, as a social connector, an expert troublemaker, and a weaver, right? So like those are three things that I actually like to center my work and myself around. I've been in Richmond for about 10 years. This place is home. I've been in a constant state of rage probably since like 2004, but didn't really know what it was, what to do with it. But I've always been the kid who was angry and upset about the conditions of Black life and Black people. Like I got introduced to like Pan-African frameworks of seeing the world and connecting and racial identity at a very young age. And I've carried that throughout my life, even throughout like high school and undergrad and grad school. But honestly, I didn't get clear about my purpose and my work until 2018, where I lost 3 young people in the city of Richmond, 2 to gun violence and 1 was tragically struck by a vehicle. And so ever since 2018, I've been real clear and real focused around like these systems and people, adults in particular in the city of Richmond, are causing Black youth to die. And I wasn't able to acknowledge or sit with that because I was, come from the framework where you got to get inside the systems and do the work, or you got to organize outside and call and push for change. But either or, like both are still causing Black youth to die in the city. And so, yeah, it was 2018 when I was like, I know what my purpose and my mission and my work is, and that is to increase the visibility of Black youth, to eliminate barriers to dreaming for Black youth, and to create pathways to opportunity for Black youth. So I think when it comes to young people, it's in particular like Black and brown youth in the city of Richmond, I don't feel that they have the ability or the privilege to be seen as kids, right? So that is one of the greatest inequities, is that Black youth and brown youth don't get to be kids from the jump. That they are forced down this trajectory and set with these unrealistic expectations that don't allow them to mess up. And then when they do mess up, the law comes down on them hard and they can't get out of it. And so we see it time and time again in the city where young people have interactions in the street or in their schools with law enforcement or people in authority who don't see them as kids. And then because they don't see them as kids, they don't treat them or respond to their behaviors, their feelings, their emotions as young people. And then we also see where just the lack of value and investment in all types of Black youth, regardless of how their behaviors show up or things they might engage in in the community. Just this lack of investment in their future to give them access to opportunities. And what I really saw in my work the last 4 or 5 years is like, it would break my heart when a Black youth would come in front of me and didn't even know how to dream anymore. Like when did you lose that? Who took that from you? Why is that even possible? And so when I just saw time and time again, leadership in the city, if that's within, elected officials, those who are inside of classrooms or school buildings, those who are operating nonprofits or foundations, really not seeing the fullness and the wholeness of Black youth, it really just drives me, it keeps me rageful, and honestly, it just pisses me off, because it is the greatest form of inequity when our young people can't even dream about their future. So younger youth, like I would say probably 12 and under, really get the majority of the investment, the focus, the access to opportunities around recreation, or just getting them to expand their skill set and mindset. But we see it drop off when our kids are no longer as cute as they used to be, when they become teenagers and young adults. And we really don't see the city, nonprofits or foundations investing in older youth and adults in the city. And then we wonder why we have an increase, right, in violence in community. All of these things are kind of predetermined. I can work with a young person all day long, and I used to do it. right? To help them figure out how to deal with their feelings, emotions, manage things in their household, their stresses, loss of family, loss of friends. But at the end of the day, one of the drivers that led them to make decisions that harm themselves and community by engaging in certain crimes is like they needed money now. They needed access to economics to provide for themselves and for their family. But if we're not investing in our older youth to help them see and dream differently about what their future could be, they're going to look around and become the things that are around them. It looked like economic power for the people who built it. I would say, like, even on my block, I've lived in this community for 10 years. I've been over on my block in my house for 4 years. And in the last 4 years, there are like 9 new renovated homes on my block. I was the first one at the time, and every single one of them a white person has moved into. It's even the stereotypical, I have a white neighbor across the street that flies a Black Lives Matter flag and don't talk to nobody, right? And so I think equity looks like economic power, not just social and political power. Richmond has done a great job of having Black social and political power, but doesn't have the economic power. Not to say we use those two means of power to our benefit all the time, because we don't. But for me, it certainly looked like economic power and the freedom of possibilities and the opportunity to take risk and rebound from them. We hear a lot of, well, we've heard financial literacy or whatever, but this last year, I've been real focused on teaching Black youth and Black people like power literacy, like how to understand power, and what that means to them, for us, right? Like how we can actualize and use it. And so one strategy, that's one, to actually teach people who are historically oppressed what power is, how it works, how you get you some, how you already have some, how to activate it, and how to get things done with it. I also challenge white folks who hold power to really think about the distribution of that power and whatever type it is, right? If it's economic, social, political, how are you distributing the power that you hold? And so for me, it's just really those two things, teaching those who are historically oppressed what power is, how it works, and those who have power, challenging them to redistribute it. I feel like for me, like that's how we get a bit closer to this vision of racial equity in the city. But at the end of the day, no matter where you are doing this work, for me, definitely as a Black woman, I'm connected to everyone else that looks like me, that walks a path like me. And so we really are all that we have, and we can't forget, right? We can't forget what our assignments are. Our assignments are not to bend and fold at the will of organizations and systems, but to always stand on the side of the people. And so we have to remember and even have to call upon it from time to time when we're kind of facing some of these meetings or some of these decisions that have to be made. Who am I, fighting for? Whose side am I standing on? And whatever this is, what am I willing to lose? And I think for this work, however folks define their work, but I know how I define my work, I will always stand on the side of the people and sacrifice, whatever that looks like for me, because I know I'm gonna be all right? Like if we stand on the side of the people and stay with each other, we're gonna take care of each other.